Are you looking for the best Samsung TVs? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best TVs on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Samsung 65-inch S90D OLED 4K TV. When looking at overall value for your money, the S90D is the best Samsung TV we've tested. In fact, it's our pick for the best TV you can buy right now from any brand. The S90D replaces our previous recommendation in this category, the S90C, and this newer model offers a slight boost in brightness while carrying over everything else we loved about that older TV. Thanks to its QD OLED panel, the S90D delivers an infinite contrast ratio and better color performance than similarly priced OLEDs from LG and Sony. It also boasts a high 144Hz refresh rate when paired with a PC to enable smooth gameplay. Like all Samsung TVs, the display supports the HDR10 and HDR10 plus high dynamic range (HDR) formats, and it looks stunning when playing compatible movies and TV shows. Highlights pop off the screen, and the S90D produces deeper, more precise black levels than any of Samsung's QLED displays. It also has wider viewing angles than a QLED, so you can sit to the side of the TV without any notable loss in image quality. The S90D is also very bright for a mid-range OLED. We measured a peak of around 1240 nits, which beats the older S90C by around 200 nits. This makes it an excellent fit for movie watching in a dark home theater and casual TV viewing in a typical living room. However, the S90D's brightness still can't match the 2000 nit max of Samsung's top QLEDs, like the QN90D, or its brand new S95F OLED. It also has a glossy screen rather than the anti-glare matte screen found on some of Samsung's other TVs. Higher brightness and a matte screen are both beneficial for viewers who struggle with reflections in rooms with a lot of light and windows. That said, we prefer glossy screens for most use cases since this type of panel preserves contrast better. All things considered, the S90D is the best Samsung TV for most people with typical viewing needs. Its image quality is nearly on par with sets that cost $1,000 more, and it often gets fantastic discounts during sales. At number 2. Samsung 65-inch DU7200 4K TV. Samsung sells many excellent premium and mid-range displays, but its budget models are often a bit overpriced compared to similar options from brands like TCL, Hisense, and Roku. Though you can get better value from one of those companies, Samsung's DU7200 is a decent entry-level pick for anyone who prefers the Samsung brand. The DU7200 is the successor to our previous pick in this category, the CU7000, and it shares many of the same specifications. It uses a regular LCD panel with an edge-lit LED backlight, and it's missing all the step-up picture quality features you'd find on Samsung's QLED and OLED models. This means the TV lacks quantum dots, so it has a narrower range of colors than a QLED. It's also missing local dimming, so its black levels aren't as deep or uniform across the screen. Likewise, the display is one of the dimmest options in Samsung's lineup. It can technically process HDR10 and HDR10 plus signals, but it's not capable of showcasing the full benefits of those formats. On the plus side, the DU7200 still supports full 4K resolution for a clean, sharp image. It plays standard dynamic range (SDR) content in both 4K and high definition just fine, so HD cable channels and all of the best live TV streaming services look solid. This is a fine entry-level model for casual viewers who just want a basic smart TV and don't care about paying extra for better picture quality. But keep in mind, if you're willing to go outside Samsung's lineup, you can find TVs with better contrast and color performance, like the Hisense U6N, for just a bit more money. At number 3. Samsung 65-inch QN90D Neo QLED 4K TV. Though we favor Samsung's OLED TVs for their superior black-level performance, the company's QN90D QLED TV is still an excellent high-end display option, especially if you want an extra bright screen. The QN90D is part of Samsung's Neo QLED series, which means it uses quantum dots for expanded color and a mini LED backlight with local dimming for improved contrast. The TV's mini LEDs enable it to produce deep black levels with more precise brightness control than a typical QLED TV that uses regular-sized LEDs. However, the QN90D's dimming isn't perfect, and it has some flaws that you won't see on an OLED like the S90D. Some blooming, small halos around bright objects, and vignetting, darkening around the edges of bright objects, cropped up in a few scenes during our evaluation. For instance, one test sequence that featured candles burning against a black background had noticeable halos around the flames. But in exchange for those imperfections, the QN90D offers nearly double the brightness of a typical OLED. We measured a peak of around 2040 nits. This resulted in more impactful HDR highlights compared to what we saw on the S90D. The QN90D's viewing angles are also solid for a QLED. Colors hold up better from an angle than they do on many competing QLEDs from Hisense, TCL, and Roku. Ultimately, the QN90D is a great high-end alternative for people who prefer QLED displays over OLEDs. It's best for viewers who want an especially bright display and never want to think twice about burn-in. At number 4. Samsung 65-inch S95D 4K OLED TV. Samsung's S95D OLED is one of the few high-end TVs available with an anti-glare matte screen. This feature is designed to significantly reduce reflections in rooms with ambient light. During our testing, the screen filter lived up to its claims, nearly eliminating glare. This makes the S95D uniquely suited for bright rooms where distracting reflections can be problematic. Sports fans, in particular, should consider this set as it's great for watching games during the day. However, the glare-free coating does cause black levels to look a bit elevated in bright rooms, causing the image to lose some of the inkiness that OLEDs are known for. Black levels are still perfect in a dark room, but perceived contrast does take a hit when watching dim scenes with the lights on. In addition to its impressive reflection handling, the S95D is one of the brightest OLED TVs we've tested. We measured a peak of around 1,700 nits, about 500 nits more than the cheaper S90D. That's a decent increase, and it can make color and specular highlights, like explosions, pop with a bit more intensity. However, we think the cheaper S90D's brightness capabilities are sufficient for most use cases. Like the S90D, the S95D supports up to a 144Hz refresh to get incredibly smooth gameplay when hooked to a PC. The S95D does have a more high-end design than the cheaper S90 series, using a separate One-Connect box to house all its HDMI ports. This gives it a uniformly thin profile of just 0.4 inches all the way down. If you're specifically looking for a high-end, glare-free experience, the S95D is the best Samsung TV to get. However, buyers should note that a 2025 version of this display, the S95F, is also available. The S95F can get even brighter, but it costs a lot more. For now, we only recommend the pricier S95F to big TV enthusiasts. At number 5. Samsung 65-inch The Frame, LS03D. Samsung's Frame TV is an excellent choice for anyone planning to wall mount their display. The unique TV is built to look like a piece of art hanging in your living room. The frame has a black border by default, but you can pay extra to get different bezel colors for the exact picture frame look you want. Options include white, brown, teak, red, beige, and more. The add-on bezels magnetically snap onto the display for simple installation. Like Samsung's S95 series, the Frame TV uses an external One-Connect box to house its video ports, which enables the panel to maintain a 1-inch profile from top to bottom. When paired with the included slim-fit wall mount, the TV can be hung flush on your wall, just like a framed work of art. The display uses a matte finish that's similar but not identical to the one used on Samsung's flagship S95 series OLEDs. This finish helps prevent reflections and gives the screen a more canvas-like appearance. When you're not watching TV, you can have it enter art mode, which will cycle through various paintings and photographs you can pull from Samsung's Art Store, subscription required, or a USB drive. A built-in motion sensor can even toggle the art mode to activate when people are in the room. While the frame's unique design is its main selling point, the TV also benefits from using a QLED panel, albeit without all the bells and whistles that Samsung's best QLEDs have. The frame can't hit the same peak brightness levels as our high-end PICs, and it lacks local dimming for precise contrast control.